Hello, let's solve the New York Times Flashback history quiz and put some events in order. Let's get going and see what we're facing today. So we're starting off with an event in 1943. The U.S. starts shipping 120 million pocket-sized books to troops with ideas seen as a weapon in the war. So 1943. Here we have Katalin Kariko takes a low-level job to work on mRNA. She believes it can direct cells to make any protein and later lead to vaccines. Well, that's I think comfortably after 1943, indeed 1989. The estimated date that these ancient footprints are made in New Mexico, they may be among the earliest evidence of people in North America. Well, I think it's fairly safe to say that was prior to 1943. Indeed, 21,000 BCE. The Supremes debut Baby Love and other #1 hits. To first get noticed, they often visited a Motown studio after school. Well, that's a really interesting fact. Well, I'm going to say that's certainly after 1943. Indeed, 1964. In ancient Mesopotamia, people craft a range of beers. Early writing shows that some workers are even paid in daily rations of beer. That's interesting, and I would think more recently than 21,000 BCE. Indeed, 3,000. More single women leave rural areas to work in U.S. cities. They pursue romance with partners in public, and a new term is coined, date. Well, that's also fairly fascinating. Anyway, I think that's before 1943. Indeed, 1896. Okay, Lydians stamp an alloy of gold and silver to denote value. Instead of weighing it each time, creating some of the earliest minted coins. Interesting. Do I think that is prior to or after 3000 BC? I would think, my guess would be after, but I could be absolutely wrong about this. It was comfortably later. Okay, I shouldn't have been as uncertain about that. A German psychiatrist first records human brain activity called EEGs while studying what he believed was his sister's telepathy. Now that is interesting. Where do I think that falls relative to 1943? Probably prior to that. It feels like an early 20th century fascination, that kind of telepathy instinct. Yeah, okay, 1924. That's right about when I would have wanted to peg it, with a sort of interest in telepathy, that kind of thing. The edict of an Egyptian leader, Horemheb, is one of the first recorded laws against bribery, though actual punishment may be rare. That is also interesting. Oh, I really wish I knew this. There's a time when I would have known this. I was working on a game that was set in much more modern Egypt, but it dealt significantly with ancient Egypt, and I bet I would have had a better guess about this several years ago. So what would this be? Do I think it's before or after 3000 BCE? What do I think? I think maybe somewhat slightly more recent. The thing is, ancient Egypt lasted for such a ludicrously long time, and I don't remember the specific period of Horemheb, but I'm going to put it here. It was. Okay. There we go. All right, well, there we go. Perfect score this week, so I improved on last time's performance. So there we go. Back to a better showing for myself. And let's see, what were the least frequently correctly placed? So only 64% of people put the Edict of Horemheb in the right place. Though I wasn't incredibly confident about that. Is that the lowest? That was the lowest, yeah. So most of these were placed correctly, as it turns out. And there we go. That was the week in Flashback. Suppose I'll be back next week if I remember to do it, unlike last week. Bye for now.